Right, welcome back. And time now to take a look at our question of the day. And please indulge us and interact with our question as you always do. So here's the question.
Yeah, it's all about the government of national unity. And it now has 5 parties. Does this indicate that political parties are keen to work together in the best interest of the country? That's the question we're asking you at Morning Live, SABC. That's where you can get hold of us on X.
Yeah, and don't forget, we love to receive those voice notes as well. So there's the number, 0784591897. Please get in touch. Please tell us what your views are. And please short, sharp, to the point, but also preferably in as quiet a place as you can so that you're not competing with whatever background noise there may be going on.
Indeed. All right. Look forward to hearing from you and reading some of your messages. Let's get into the front pages of the newspapers now, and we'll start off with the business day. So the business day is leading with shares up as cabinet haggling begins. So uprooting graft, growing economy should be the top priority, according to this is who they say, 91. It's the value of SA companies with earnings linked mainly to economic conditions, such as banks, insurers and retailers, rose by billions of rands on Friday after it became clear that the ANC, DA and IFP, as well as the smaller parties that would form the government of national unity and cooperate in the key provinces of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. They go through a list of the shares and how they jumped up. Standard Bank up 5.5%, Capitec 5.3%, Nedbank 4.2%. The insurers also rallying. Sanlam up 3.7%, Old Mutual 7.5%, Discovery 6%. Even the retailers, ShopRite up 4.5% and Pick n Pay up 6%. So yeah, that's what they are focusing in on, and those are the markets. So of course, enjoying what's happening with the government of national unity. Then there's a picture there. All smiles, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage at the launch of the party manifesto. This was yesterday. He vowed to get migration under control and cut small business taxes. Remember, those the UK also going into elections. Eskom needs to reinvent itself, says the CEO. As the liberalisation of South Africa's electricity market matures, Eskom will face more competition from independent power producers, which can now enter into supply agreements with end users. So electricity under the spotlight there. And then the whole issue around a new tax on Shein and Temu imports to level the playing field. So we saw this all happening, where the South African Reserve, the South African Revenue Service, is set to level the playing field for domestic retailers by changing the way imports from Chinese e-commerce retailers, Shein and Temu, are taxed. So there's a whole thing. Have a look, read how it's going to affect you. But it's mostly under the 500 Rand mark. So just remember that under the current system, parcels from companies such as Shein and Temu valued at under 500 Rand benefit from that 20% flat rate import duty with no additional VAT. That is going to change. So anything under 500 Rand, it's going to go up to about 45% import duties now.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a big jump, and an additional 15% VAT. So
well, that changes the game, doesn't it?
It does, but under 500 Rand.
For the under 500
it does
basket. All right, moving on to the Star. Their lead story this morning, MK Party to take the IEC fraud to the ICJ. Now, we presented concrete evidence to the IEC showing widespread irregularities in the voting process and system, and it has all fallen on deaf ears. A protracted legal battle brewing between the Umkhonto weSizwe Party and the Electoral Commission of South Africa after the MKP leader Jacob Zuma alleged that 9 million votes were unaccounted for. The erstwhile president made these claims at a media briefing yesterday in Sowetan, where he vowed to challenge the outcome of the May 29 elections all the way to the International Court of Justice in The Hague. So it was quite an interesting one. They go into the details about what was said, and among other things, it was said that in KZN, the MKP scored the most votes with 45.4%, which translated into 37 seats, only 4 short of getting the outright majority there. But of course, in spite of that, the party is essentially saying that the alleged fraud mainly took place. The elections were allegedly rigged in the provinces where they have their strongholds, KZN, Gauteng and Mpumalanga. And then attack on police should be declared treason, according to SAPU. Now, Johannesburg Metro Police Department officer is in hospital after he was allegedly viciously attacked by a Nigerian national during an operation on Sunday. Now, the tactical unit officers were following a lead on a Nigerian national suspected of drug dealing, and as they approached the suspect, he called for reinforcements alleging a robbery, and this led to a violent attack on one of the officers. Then we can't say load shedding is behind us yet, says the Eskom CEO. Eskom on Friday said it had stepped up its generation and achieved its target of keeping unplanned outages consistently around 12,000 megawatts with a low of 9,500 megawatts at some point, though the spectre of load shedding was not completely behind us, even though we've had 80 days without interruption. And also there, the picture, reflective prayer, Indonesian Muslims offering mass prayer at the Baitul Makmur Grand Mosque during the Eid al-Adha celebrations yesterday. And this is an interesting one. I'm the only designer in the world with a Braille identification system. A South African Braille fashion designer, Balani Naidu Engelbrecht. I'm curious to read that. And Vodacom denies it will manipulate market with fiber merger.
All right, interesting, lovely. All right, I mean, you talk about Vodacom. I also didn't read that story on the sidebar of the business day. Not that we're going to go back to it, but Vodacom also firing 631 workers over fraud. So investigations over a year. They apparently investigated over 8,000 cases of fraud. So a crazy story there. Also outside of Vodacom. Here's one. The front page of the Citizen. The 130 million skills fund scandal. Reeling from the financial hardship, project facilitators have not been paid and youth-owned enterprises training falls by the wayside as 130 million rand mismanagement cloud grows over the Department of Higher Education's National Skills Fund, but the fund's acting CEO, David Mabusela, is not aware of it. All right, so that's that story. Then, wow, what a picture they've got here. Tragedy unfolds. Indian Railways. So people gather near the site of a collision between a passenger and a goods train. This is in India's West Bengal area yesterday. This was in that state there. 3 passenger carriages were derailed and flipped onto their side, while one carriage was thrust high into the air, precariously balancing on another, with the death toll still climbing at this point. Wow, what a tragic story there, goodness me. All right, other stories. Here is Isaac Mashaba, who's got the power, that one there. Another story, petrol heads fill up on the wonderful in Durban. Some of South Africa's top automotive builders showcase their amazing customization talents. And secrets in Stelli's Wilkenhof residence. Here's an interesting one. A panel recommends its closure after shocking findings in 2 disciplinary rooms. Wow. All right. That's your Citizen.
You know, I must say, when I saw that picture of the Indian railway collision there, you remember this is, it just reminded me of those pictures of people sitting all over on those railway carriages.
Yeah.
And when you speak about the death toll, that's exactly what I was thinking of, what might have happened there.
So 8 people so far were killed, and as they say, it is climbing.
Shame. And then Sowetan, a picture there on the front page. Of course, this is about the state, the stage being set at the Union Buildings in Pretoria for tomorrow's inauguration of President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa for his 2nd term in office. Also, parties intensify cabinet talks. Soweto School earns UNESCO invitation. That story on page 8. And the state of disorder. Mpumalanga health facilities are at the mercy of thugs after robbery forces a clinic to close its doors. And the department also says that 23 cars, including 2 mobile clinics, were stolen in hospitals in the past 6 months. Wow. And on the back page, we've got Bucks defender laments the departure of assistant coach, and also designer cooks up a storm in dad's memory. Those are some of the stories the Sowetan carries this morning.
All right, there we go. So that's where we leave the newspapers for now. But of course, what we will do is tell you about our website, sabcnews.com. You can find all the news there. And of course, you can see Youth Day was a big focus, showing all of those details coming out of these main celebrations that were held over the weekend. And then, of course, remember tomorrow, the very, very big event, the inauguration of the President-elect Cyril Ramaphosa will be taking place tomorrow. SABC will be covering that live on all of our platforms. You can watch it on SABC News. You can also tune into our pop-up channel on YouTube.
No, the live SABC, so it's the live on SABC Plus, that's tomorrow. And of course, the live broadcast will also be live streamed on SABC News' YouTube channel.
Fantastic.
So all of our platforms will be available there.
Excellent. All right, well, there you go. Those are the details for tomorrow. But let's get back into today and take a look at what is happening in our news bulletin at 7 o'clock.